Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? What I'm doing, I'm trying to germinate some seed. I have some lemon seed here. I have an avocado seed here, and I get this from someone, and they call it sweet lemon. If I'm going to bust it open, and if it have any seed inside of it, then I'm definitely going and sow some seed. Yeah. Let me see. Juice, you have a lot of juice inside of it. Okay. All right. So we see seeds. Oh, we see seeds inside of it. I'm hearing that this is sweet lemon. So I'm going to try germinate these sweet lemon seed, which I'm going to take out the seeds them. Yes, I'm going to take out the seeds them and I'm going to try germinate them. Sweet lemon. Let me taste it as well. Let me taste how it tastes. It tastes like lemon, but it don't have that sourness. It have a more sweeter taste. So I guess that's why they call it sweet lemon. Mm. Yeah, almost tastes like orange, but it's not that sour. But it's a fruit I can eat. Mm, awesome. So what I have here, let me see if I can bring it down. All right, so I have six of the seed. They call it sweet lemon. That's what the guy tell me they call them, sweet lemon. Okay, sweet lemon. Okay, let me see. All right. What I'm going to do now with these sweet lemon, I'm going to wet them and I'm going to wrap them up with this paper. I'm hope you guys seeing. I'm going to wrap them up with the paper. So as you see, I already wet them and I'm going to put them in this Ziploc bag and then I'm going to leave them for at least 10 days. Put them in a nice area, nice cool area. Yeah, I'm gonna put them in a nice cool area and hoping that they germinate. I also have an avocado seed as well, which I'm definitely gonna also. Avocado seed, you could germinate avocado seed in many ways. You could germinate them in soil, you could germinate them in some people even use them in water. But this is also another way how to germinate avocado seed. So as we see, we wet the tissue. We wet the tissue as usual. Wet the tissue. We wrap up the avocado seed really well. And we put it down in a not in a Ziploc bag. So this is the avocado seed here as well that I'm gonna be germinating. I do it in soil, but I'm just showing you guys there's so much ways you can germinate seed. So what's going on, guys? I also have some lemon seed here as well, which I'm gonna be germinating also. And I also have some CMAS here. I now drink some CMAS, man. I'm telling you, CMAS is amazing. I could remember, I could remember drinking CMAS in the younger days. God, this is when you know learning about CMAS. Sometimes when you a certain age, they used to always tell, oh no, CMAS is, they don't want you to drink CMAS because they know the effect it can cause on you. So them guys used to say, no, 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 you're too young for CMAS, man. You're too young for CMAS. But CMAS is amazing. Lots of health benefit, and it's something could make your lady love you. CMAS. All right. So what's up, guys? What's up, guys? What's up, guys? How you all doing tonight? Hope you guys doing wonderful. Let me get these things off the table and get busy with this topic tonight. How you guys doing tonight? Talk to me, guys. How you guys doing tonight? All right. So tonight it's simple as that, guys. Simple as that. I prepare some seeds to germinate. Simple as that. Simple as that. Prepare some seed to germinate. So now we're going to talk about how to grow massive bell pepper trees and massive bell pepper. How to grow massive bell pepper trees and massive bell pepper. How to grow that? Okay. The topic is how to grow massive bell pepper. Also massive bell pepper trees. Well, as you know, we've grown a lot of bell pepper over the years. And we're able to get bell pepper grow to a certain height, 8 feet. We grow bell pepper up to 8 feet tall. 8 feet tall. And we also were able to grow bell pepper that they can produce a lot of massive pepper. So tonight I want to give you a guide of how to grow bell pepper. From my experience and what I've learned, I've realized that bell pepper love natural soil. Yeah, I've realized that bell pepper love natural soil. I've realized that. And I've also realized that bell pepper don't need a bunch of water by its root. I also realized that bell pepper really, and I also realized that bell pepper love a lot of heat, hot sun. So don't care how hot the sun is, the bell pepper in the middle of the day, you might see the leaf kind of drop a little, but in the evening when the sun goes down, the bell pepper stand right back up. Bell pepper love a lot of heat, but I'm going to walk you through the planting process. Welcome everyone. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for hitting that like button. Truly appreciate that. Yes. So bell pepper love sun. So we know they love sun. We also know they love natural soil, organic matter. Bell pepper love natural organic soil. Now, in the stage of planting bell pepper, my recommendation, if you want to have massive bell pepper trees, tall bell pepper trees, 5, 6, 7, 8 feet tall bell pepper trees, also that produce continuously. How do you do that? Well, I'm going to give you an idea how you can do that. and able to be successful. Hey, how you doing passionately? Thank you for being here. How you doing? Good night. All right. Thank you for being here. Yeah. So bell pepper, I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for asking. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much. Yes. So we bell pepper, if you want to grow tall bell pepper trees, and you want to grow bell pepper trees that produce a lot of bell pepper, and you want to produce big, massive bell pepper, a good way to do that, a good way to succeed is you after, when you preparing your soil, it's good to prepare the soil at least a month ahead. It's really good. Maybe in the fall. In the fall is the best time to prepare the soil. But when the planting day comes, when you're getting ready to transplant the bell pepper, my recommendation is planting them deep. My recommendation is to dig the hole at least 10 to 12 inches deep. At least 10 to 12 inches deep. Why I say that? Because planting them 10 to 12 inches deep, you could gain a lot of benefit in that way. How you want to gain benefit? Well, under the soil, under the soil, there's a lot of nutrients under the soil, mineral, a lot of food for that plant. So the deeper you plant it is better. Also, if you're trying to grow a tall bell pepper tree, right? If you're trying to grow a tall, massive bell pepper tree, you have to make sure you plant it deep in the soil. So when it starts growing and it starts pushing out pepper, the root is strong enough to deal with that, the weight of the pepper, also to support the plant. Hey, gamer YouTube, how you doing? Yes, to support the plant. If you plant a bell pepper tree 6 inches deep or 5 inches deep, that's not deep enough. That's not deep enough. And the next thing again, when the heat starts penetrating the pepper plant, you don't want the roots then to get affected from the heat. So if you plant, the deeper you plant them, the more they feed. Instead of they're on the top, they're under the soil, feeding from the nutrient. So this plant is feeding itself, feeding itself. And while it's feeding itself, it's growing. And it's so anchored in the soil. So even when it's growing tall, it's solid. The root is solid. It has a solid root system under the soil. So you ain't got to worry about the weight, pull it down. The only thing you might have to do, you might have to stake it. And why you want to have to stake it is because the peppers them so massive and heavy, so you will have to stake them to to hold their weight. Because if you don't do that, when the rain fall and the wind is gonna pop them, and sometimes they're so young. So you want to make sure you stake them before the limbs break. Okay, passionate. How long? How long will the bell pepper take to germinate? The bell pepper seed could take up 5 to 6 days. Bell pepper seed could take to germinate, at least 5 to 6 days. Yeah, so if you're in a growing season, you want to start indoors. You don't want to start outdoors because it's going to be too late. So you want to start indoors for give it that head start. So when you give it that head start, and when you transplant them, they already start growing. So you don't want to start them from seed in April, May. You want to start them from seed, February, January, February. Give them time to grow. You give them time to grow. So by the time you transplant them and they get used to the soil and they start growing, in no time, you're ready to start see flowers, right? But the goal is growing a massive bell pepper tree with massive pepper that produce so much of pepper. So after you plant them 10 to 12 inches deep, while they're growing up, because they're going to be down in the hole. So while they're growing up, what you keep doing, you add in soil. You keep adding soil. So while you add in soil, they just keep pushing root. They just keep pushing the white baby roots. You keep adding more soil. Adding soil. By the time the soil reach to the surface, the hole fill up to the surface, that plant already create a massive root system. Now, this massive root system is what gonna keep the plant grounded in the soil. That is what gonna keep the plant grounded in the soil. So even though the wind blow, or even though the rain come, the plant gonna still stand up. If the wind blowing, the plant gonna still, you're gonna dance, but the root system is grounded. And the plant's gonna be stronger because it's getting fed with the nutrients, with the mineral, with actually all that it needs. You see what I'm coming from? So at the end of the day, it's important. Your biggest goal, is planting them deep. That's the biggest part, planting them deep. For all pepper that I've planted, that I've grown, I've realized bell pepper limb is the easiest limb to pop. Yes, out of all pepper that I've grown, I've realized bell pepper limb is the easiest one to pop. So this is why you go around and you stake your peppers so you could tie the limbs them on the stake. Because sometimes the pepper them gets so big and heavy that they just pop the limb. And the thing is, when they pop the limb, sometimes the limb still might have on 5, 6 small ones. So you're actually going to be losing peppers. So it's smartest thing to do is put stake around and tie up the limbs then on the stake, so the limbs, the weight of the pepper will not bring them down, right? So after you plant your pepper 10 to 12 inches deep. Every 3 days, when they baby, every 3 days you go out and you soften the soil around their root. You soften the soil around their root. You wake up the soil around their root. You make sure you wake up the soil every 3 days. Because now you got to remember, this is a baby plant, right? This is a baby plant, and this plant pushing baby roots, right? This plant is actually pushing baby roots. So if the plant is pushing baby roots, meaning the soil is supposed to be soft enough that these little white baby roots can push themselves. Because the more these baby roots push themselves, is the bigger this plant gonna get. The more the baby roots spread, and the main root, because the main root is under the soil, searching for nutrients, searching for minerals, searching for the food that the plant needs. Meanwhile, the plant is still pushing more young baby root. So it's important to every 3 days you go out and you get a piece of stick or something and you wake the soil up. Even if it's in a container. You can do that even if it's in a container. You wake the soil up every 3 days. Once you see the plant take off, because the plant's gonna show you it take off. Because what's gonna happen? It's gonna show you a greener. It's gonna show you a green, a real bright, beautiful color green. And after you see that green, you know that this plant is growing. This plant is good. This plant is growing. While the plant is growing, you still soften the soil around their roots. Still soften the soil. The good thing about it is because you planted deep, the root is actually covered. So now, if you soften the root, the soil around the root, it's not gonna damage the root. You know, like sometimes we take a machete and we digging up the soil around there, waking up the soil. It's not gonna damage the root because the root is under the ground. The root is solid under the ground, just feeding, hiding from the sun. The sun is not penetrating the root because we all know if the sun is penetrating the root, it could actually damage the root. So you want to make sure the root is well covered, well grounded, and solid in the soil. Because now you're preparing this pepper tree for success. You're preparing it, you're making it strong and healthy. So you can get a huge pepper tree. So you could get huge peppers from this tree. And you could also get a healthy harvest. So growing bell pepper, it's easy. It's really easy once you get the hang of it. It's easy. But the thing is, you got to know exactly what it like and what it needs. You got to know exactly what it like and what it needs. In that case is take care of that plant. The step I now give you, I'm going to go over it again. The step I now give you, bell pepper love organic matter. Bell pepper love natural soil. Bell pepper love to be planted deep and grounded in the soil. Now I'm going to give you when to add compost to your bell pepper. When should you add compost to your bell pepper plant? When? You should add compost to your bell pepper plant when you see it start pushing flowers. When you see the bell pepper plant start pushing flowers, you give it a boost of compost. Or you could use natural fertilizer, natural compost that you make. So when you do that, it strengthens the plant. That boost you give it is to help boost it to keep producing, producing, producing big, healthy bell pepper plant. This is for real, guys. This is for real. Let me see. How long does it take for the bell pepper to push through all that soil? Okay. Say, for instance, the bell pepper plant start germinating 4 days. Within a week after, you're gonna see it start pushing leaf above the soil. Once it germinates and the first thing happen when a bell pepper plant germinate with more seed, all seed. When they germinate, what happen is they push out a root. They push out a root down in the soil. And that root is what searching for nutrients, searching for food, water to feed this plant. So meanwhile, this plant is searching for the food and the water and sucking it up and feeding the plant. Then you're gonna start seeing the leaf, it start pushing out the leaf. You start seeing the leaf coming through the soil and start growing. So if the germination take 4 or 5 days, within a week after that 4 or 5 days, you definitely should be seeing leaf. You definitely should be seeing leaf. Once a plant is germinate, at least 5 days after, you should be seeing leaf above the ground. Yes. So yes, if you want to grow massive bell pepper tree, guys, if you want to be able to grow massive, tall bell pepper tree that produce a lot of pepper, you will have to plant them 10 to 12 inches deep. You also will have to feed them with natural fertilizer. When I say natural fertilizer, stuff that comes out of your garden, the leaf and these type of stuff that breaks down. I only could speak. Don't listen to me. If you're using synthetic fertilizer, then I cannot guide you to grow massive bell peppers. This is the guide for natural growing bell pepper. Bell pepper that growing natural. This is the guide. I cannot give you guide for synthetic because I don't know about synthetic. I know about the guide to grow natural, grow bell pepper natural. When you, I don't know, if this thing is the internet working good, I'm gonna show you guys a video of, hold on. That's only if the internet working good. Sometimes you try to, and then it acting up. So let me see, all right? Let me see. Okay, playlist, all right. Okay, playlist. Give me one. Okay, this is a playlist here. Right after, but let me see if I can share this video on the screen. I don't know. The internet share screen. bell. So this is the I come and I soften the soil around the root. This is the toddy. This is very important, guys. This is very important. To make sure you soften them root. All right. So this is part two, guys. This is part two on the guide to growing massive bell pepper tree. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoy. Peace. Okay. Let me see, part two. Records right now that we break in this garden. We had a 7 foot, then we have a 8 foot. So we want to see how far we could take it this year. But at the same time, we want to show you guys the step along the way. All right. First, I want to show you guys. You see the hole. This is the hole, and if you notice, the hole is pretty deep. Do you see? I'm doing it with one hand, so you're gonna have to excuse me, but look at it. The hole is pretty deep. All right, so you want to make and at the same time. So even though you plant it and you ain't get no rain, you're not gonna be having much problem, and then the plant's gonna able to get moisture and nutrients from the bottom. So today we're gonna transplant a few. This is part one. Stay tuned, guys, because if you wanna grow pepper tree massive, okay, these are pepper tree I plant I sow last year. I think is in December. These are bell pepper tree I grow in December. Set from my seed. I have some seed right now that come from 8 foot bell pepper tree, which these are some of the plants. These plants come from 8 foot bell pepper tree, and I'm gonna be breaking this record. Oh, I might just hit 8 foot again. All right. So this, if you notice, guys, look how deep I'm planting them. I'm planting them pretty deep. So while they're growing, this is my method. While they're growing and coming up, I keep adding soil around them. Okay. I have a lot more, but I only walk with a couple in the garden right now. So this series is about growing massive bell pepper trees. I'm not even gonna say bell pepper plant. Bell pepper trees. All right. So let me put this next one down in here. Look, guys, you see how deep it is. I mean, it's kind of difficult for me because I'm actually using one hand, and that's it right there. Okay, guys. The thing about it is these seeds already programmed to organic matter. They love organic matter. Bell pepper love organic matter. The more you grow them natural, the better production you get from them. And you stand the chance of even growing huge bell pepper tree. All right. So guys, this is part one, growing. Okay, guys, do you see? Oh, it's like it changed. Yes, basically, it's a deep hole. And usually they deep hole and bury them. You notice how the hole's deep, right? The hole is pretty deep. So when I dig the hole, I bury them down in the soil. Let me see this. Okay, hold on, let me show you. Right, you cover it right to the bottom leaf. Okay, that's perfect right there. Take a next one. You go down. Gotta teach the kids, man. Pass this knowledge down, and the kids gonna benefit. Pull some of these down around it. Right. Okay. There's a next hole right there. Put one in the hole right there. Guys, I'm just teaching the kids. I need this information is very valuable, and passing it down, it will be a blessing to the next generation. Keep pulling the soil down. Awesome, awesome. Now you put one right in this hole as well. This is just a kid I'm teaching here, man. This is awesome. All right, down inside there, and you cover it. If you notice, you see how we burying them deep? Yes, we're burying them pretty deep. Right around it, right around it. Perfect. Okay, so how much you have left? Two more? Two. All right, let's go over this side. Go over right over there. Right in this hole. Put one right in here. We have broccoli growing here. But we're gonna put one right here because when we harvest the broccoli, the pepper gonna be coming up at the same time. Okay, pull on more. Okay, wonderful. Okay, what I'm going to do now, you hold this for me. No, leave that inside. You hold that for me. Come up here. Let me show you what I'm gonna do now. Guys, this is something I do. Oh, I need a shovel. What I do, guys, I'm gonna show you what I do. Please stay tuned. Don't stay tuned, guys. Watch when me show you what I'm doing. This for the past 8 years. If you notice right here, this is an old pepper tree. For the past 8 years, if you see the state one right here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pull it up now, right? And I'm gonna dig a hole right here. Same place. Same place. Same place. Now you're gonna plant this one right in here now. Remember, you will have to take care of these plants. All right? On Saturdays. All right. Okay, all right. All right, all right. Well, listen to me. On Saturdays, when you get chance, you have to come and take care of these pepper plants. Okay? Okay. After you, when it's not a school day and you finish your chores, you can come and take care of these pepper. This is gonna be for you and your family, all right? Okay. Thank you. Hey. All right, guys. Hey, AG Born Jamaica, how you doing? Blessing, blessing. Yes. So I show these two videos because these videos demonstrate just exactly what I was saying a while ago. Bell pepper is something, planting them deep, listening, planting them deep in natural soil, planting them deep in natural soil could give you real great result. Real great result. And I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to show you how how these how it really works. I'm going to show you. Okay, now I'm gonna give you part 4 because this is a series. This is a series. So I'm showing you part 1, part 2, part 3. Okay, hold on a second for me. Yes, I'm actually showing you a series because the truth is I prefer showing because sometimes you're speaking and showing is really important to me, very important. So okay, now we staking peppers now. So this video is what's gonna show us how to stake peppers, the bell peppers. Right, this is our part 2, 7 and 8 foot, our record of 8 but today what we're gonna talk about, we're gonna talk about staking your pepper plant. This is pepper tree, guys. This is not them little plant. This is pepper tree we're growing. So if you want to follow us, you can follow us and learn how to grow 6, 7, 8 feet bell pepper trees. All right, so today what we're going to do, we're going to talk about the staking of the bell pepper tree. If you notice, you're going to see I already start putting down the stake to the bell pepper tree. I look the pretty. Why am I staking them so early? Right? Why am I staking them so early? Well, the reason why I'm staking them this early is because these pepper trees produce some massive roots. All right. So because they produce massive roots, you have to stake them early. Because if you wait until they get big and the roots spread by you pulling down the stake, you're gonna end up damaging the root of the pepper. One thing you gotta remember, we not in long growing season. We have a short growing season and we gotta make sure that our peppers get the right time to produce the way we would like them to produce. All right. So now what we're doing, we actually put in the stake early. We put in the stake early and we put in them a distance away. We put them at least 6 to 8 inches away from the plant. Why we putting them so close? Because we want when the plants start growing, we can get the body to put to the post itself and tie it. We don't want the limb, we want the body. While the tree is growing, what we're gonna do now and start spreading its wing, its leaf and its limb. What we gotta do, we gotta start putting more posts. Now, these posts that we're gonna be putting is to for the limbs now. Because these limbs gonna spread and now we're gonna have to put posts for the limb. This post that I'm putting here now, as you can see, is for the body of the tree body. So we could brace it up to the post. The post we're gonna be coming with after is gonna be for the limbs them. So this is just the beginning, and this is how we do it, guys, because we growing 8 feet, 7 feet, 6 feet, 5 feet, these type of bell pepper we grow. So follow us, guys, and watch the journey and watch the progress of all these pepper and how they're growing. All right. So today, what we talk about, staking
the pepper and when to state them. State them early because it's the body we're trying to hold up. Then we're gonna put stake for the limbs when the plants start spreading. So when we put the stake, as early as the plants start growing. All right, so we wouldn't damage the root. When we're doing the limbs, then the limbs gonna be wide. So we're not gonna be damaging the roots them. But we have to make sure we put the stake down because these gonna be big, massive bell pepper trees. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to follow us. This is part 4. Check out our playlist. You're gonna find part 1, part 2, part 3. This is part.
All right, guys. This one gonna be this one gonna be how we maintain the bell peppers, right? So let me show you this one now. Hey James, how you doing? Blessings, blessings. All right, let me show you how we maintain the peppers now. So all I was mentioning to you, I'm gonna show you now how we maintain them, how we maintain our soil. All right. I'm doing good, James. How you doing? All right, let me show you. Let me give you this video here now. This one is how we maintain our soil.
I'm gonna show you today how I maintain my soil and how I grow massive bell pepper. Notice you see what I have here? I have the tree, the rotten tree that's already breaking down. So what I'm doing now, I'm building up this area with these trees, as you can see. Look over here as well. The soil, which is already feeding the soil. Now I'm going to show you how I pack this area. All right. So what I did, I pull up some weed out of the garden. So all these little holes in here, all these little holes, I pack them with the soil, with the leaf, pack them. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take dot and I'm gonna put it on top of it. But basically what I'm doing, I'm creating a way for the earthworms, all the bacteria to live and dwell in. So when I cover this, we're gonna happen, I create a home, I create an ecosystem for the bacteria inside of them. So basically, what you see I now do here, I build up this area with only rotten tree trunks that's actually feeding my soil. This is what no.
All right. So guys, you see a black screen. You didn't see that video, James? You guys wasn't seeing that video? Let me know. Let me know if you guys was seeing that video. The video I now show you was how I prepare the soil. You didn't see it? All right, let me try run it again. Let me try run it again. Hold on.
All right, guys, so you know we're doing a bell pepper series, and I'm going to show you today how I maintain my soil and how I grow
Let
massive
me know if you're
bell
seeing
pepper.
it.
All right, so as you can see here, if you notice, you see what I have here? I have the tree, the rotten tree that's already breaking down. So what I'm doing now, I'm building up this area with these trees. As you can see, look over here as well, already breaking down. So it's actually getting ready to feed the soil, which is already feeding the soil. Now I'm going to show you how I pack
All right.
this area. All right. So what I did, I pull up some weed out of the garden. So all these little holes in here, all these little holes, I pack them with the soil, with the leaf, pack them. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take dirt and I'm gonna put it on top of it. But basically what I'm doing, I'm creating a way for the earthworms, all the bacteria to live and dwell in. So when I cover this, we're gonna happen, I create a home, I create an ecosystem for the earthworms and all the beneficial bacteria inside of them. So basically, what you see I now do here, I build up this area with only rotten tree trunks that's actually feeding my soil. This is what we do, guys. We don't add no chemical, we don't add no.
All right. So this video is basically showing you that how we prepare our soil. And this is why I'm telling you guys that bell pepper love organic matter, organic soil. Because when I feed them with these type of, these things shoot off. These things just shoot off. I don't even think they enjoy synthetic fertilizer. I'm being for real. But let me find another video that can wait. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Okay. So what I'm saying, guys, what I'm actually saying, I'm saying that bell pepper, to me, it's a real easy plant to go. To me, bell pepper is a really easy plant to go. Let me find a video showing you how tall these bell pepper tree, how tall this method I'm talking about, carry you bell pepper. Let me show you. Let me see if we can find some videos that can show you. The year before last year, I grow bell pepper tree like, and I'm also gonna show you the growth. First, let me show you the growth. Let me show you their production first. Okay, let me show you the production. The internet like you're trying to act up. Hope that it shows well. Okay, let me show you the production. So I now show you, I now give you an idea how to plant them and how to take care of them. Now, let me give you an idea after I stake and how they grow it.
Welcome to Planter Garden TV. How you guys doing today? Today we're going to talk a little about the bell pepper and the bell pepper plant. I've been growing these type of bell pepper for a very long time, so I have a lot of experience growing them. And what I've learned, I've seen videos before where people say that it's important to take off the pepper, have too much pepper, and you need to take them off. You need to do this because the pepper is producing too much pepper. No, My experience is allow the pepper plant to do its job. What's gonna happen is the pepper will start. You see these? You see how these start turning yellow? It's gonna drop for itself. All right? The pepper gonna know, balance itself and know exactly what it's gonna keep and what it's not gonna keep. So when they tell you that the pepper is producing too much and you need to do this and you need to do this, let the plant do its job. If you notice here, this is the top of the plant. And if you notice, you're gonna see a lot of peppers even blossom to the top. This is the top, and we actually in November, and this one is releasing this one. This one is really so the plant does the job for itself. You don't have to do too much things to these plants. They already know what to release and what to keep. Sometimes you see a fruit tree loaded with fruit, but it only keep a few. It only keep as much as it would like to. So sometimes I personally allow these plants to do what they got to do. I never try to take off no plant from the pepper. Pepper, for the people who really follow me, know that my bell pepper them produce in abundance and produce huge pepper. Look what's going on here, huge pepper. You see? All from the ground down here pepper, all of them loaded. I never try to take off peppers because the pepper tree have on too much. No, what that does, allow the pepper to do its job. Look in here also, we in November. Look how much pepper blossom. Look how much pepper blossom. Look how much pepper blossom. Look much pepper. Allow the plants to do its job. A lot of people grow things their own way. This is why sometimes you got to follow your own instinct and you got to learn from your mistakes because many people have their own experience and that doesn't mean that their experience gonna work for you. So sometimes just pay attention. So instead of you run and try to picking off the plants, them no, allow the plant. The plant will release what it don't want and what it wanna keep. All right. Thank you guys for watching.
All right, guys. Do you see the amount of peppers these pepper tree produce? This is what I'm seeing. And this was actually November. November, the ending of the garden season, the frost. Look how much these pepper had on. And the truth is, I've harvested so much peppers during the garden season. So much peppers. So this is what I'm saying, guys. This guy, it works. It works. It works. It works. From my own experience, I've learned. I've been growing bell pepper for a really long time. Really long time. And I've learned so much about bell pepper. I'm trying to find more pepper for you, but the internet is really acting up. I want to show you guys more about bell pepper. This one is basically a harvest. I think this harvest was in November around there. Yeah, this was a harvest in November, last November. So the same small pepper them I show you, you remember the same small pepper them I'm showing you. All these harvests I'm showing you is the same pepper them I'm actually showing you their harvest.
This is a lot of pepper, man. Welcome to Plant a Garden TV. How you guys doing? This one trigger have on a lot of pepper. This one too. My goodness. Look how much blossom these things have on. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. These are, oh man, look at this. Look at this pepper. This thing is massive. Okay. Wow. Okay, we have two ripe one right here. Harvesting bell pepper. Okay. This is a ripe one here too. So we have two ripe one. Okay. One here. Oh man. This pepper is massive, man. Wow. Another nice one here. All right. We're gonna just leave the rest to get a little bigger. Okay. Wow. All right. So thank you guys for.
All right, guys. So all this pepper. Oh man, are you serious? Wow, what is going on, man? All right, let me show back over that video. Let me show it back over. Okay, I'm gonna do it over.
This is a lot of pepper, man. Welcome to Plant a Garden TV. How you guys doing? This one tree have on a lot of pepper. This one too. My goodness. Look how much blossom these things have on. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. These. Oh man, look at it. Look at this pepper. This thing is massive. Okay.
Okay, that's good. All right, all right.
Wow. Okay, we have two ripe one right here. Harvesting bell pepper. Okay. This is a ripe one here too. So we have two ripe one. Okay.
Okay, the internet is really acting up. Okay. Yes, the internet is really acting up. But we basically talking about growing bell pepper. And I talk about bell pepper in the earlier part, and then I was showing how I grew my 2024 bell pepper. And I was also showing the harvest then, but it's not giving me, the internet is acting up. So I might got to put all them videos together and do a videos, because basically the guide of growing bell pepper from start to finish. But yes, bell pepper, to me, to me, I think bell pepper is really easy to grow. To me, the thing about it is getting them that start, that push, that early start, planting them deep down under the ground, 10 to 12 inches deep. Feed them with organic matter, natural soil. Feed them with natural soil. I think they strive really well in natural soil. Another thing I also do, I also pick up some of the big leaf in the early part. In the early part, I'll pick up some of the big leaf. But the more the tree get mature, I don't remove them leaf anymore, because the tree is mature now. When the tree is young, sometimes I pick up the big bottom leaf, because them big bottom leaf is not really doing anything. There was the early leaf. So now, while the pushing, getting bigger and pushing, I stop take off the leaf, because now this plant is getting itself prepared to become a mother of producing. So you want to give them all the care in their young days. You want to give them the care that they could grow as fast as they should. So when that stage come to push the flowers, when the stage come to push the flowers, you want to make sure that them plant okay. This is why I always recommend, well, this is what I do. When they start pushing flowers, I give them some compost. I throw some compost around them, natural compost, or some of my compost tea that I make, liquid fertilizer. I throw that around them. The thing about liquid fertilizer is easier for the plant to absorb the liquid fertilizer, because it's in a liquid form. Now, give me 1 second, guys. 1 second. Sorry for that, guys. So, bell pepper is, to me, I'm sure somebody else might say it's pretty challenging. But to me, it's a very easy plant to grow. The, like I gave in the video, I gave a demonstration of when you plant them. I'm going to go over it again. When you plant a bell pepper plant, a baby plant, it's good to plant them at least 10 to 12 inches deep. They're going to be down in the hole, but guess what? While they're growing up out of the hole, you will be adding soil. So while they're growing out of the hole, while you add in soil, it's actually anchoring that plant. And this plant now gonna produce a massive root system. So When the wind blows, the plant basically dance with the wind instead of breaking out the root or falling out the root. Not to say that the wind cannot break it, but you stand a better chance if you plant it deep because the root is grounded down inside of there. You know, sometimes you might plant a plant, but you ain't planted deep. And then it might rain or the wind might blow and the plant just lean down on the ground just like that. Why? Because the root is not anchored in the ground. The root is shallow. Because you plant this plant maybe like 5 inches deep. That's not good enough because even though sometimes these plants, remember, while these plants is growing, these plants pushing roots. So if you plant them on the surface, you stand a chance of seeing white root. And then these white root, if the sun get to penetrate these white root could dry up. Now you also back in the growth of the plant right there again. So if you plant them deep, is a better chance of getting way more production, less problem, less situation than if you plant them 5-6 inches deep. 5-6 inches deep is really not enough for me because if you're really looking for a growth, if you're looking for growth, a big plant, if you're looking for a plant that produces a lot, then you got to plant it deep. You have to plant it deep. When you plant it deep, you stand a better chance of getting production. Once a root, what we got to understand, once a root growing, you see, once a root growing, pushing, spreading, sucking nutrient, it also feeding the plant. And the more this plant feed and suck nutrient is the more it's grow and the more it's produce. So you want to make sure, where we got to understand too, you sit down under the soil. Remember, on the surface of the soil is where the sun penetrates. Right? On the surface. The more the sun shines without rain, it goes down. You understand? Like it might go down 1/2 inch because it's not raining. The more the sun shines, the dryness goes down. So it might go down to 1 inch. The more the sun shines, it goes. So it takes a long time to get down to 10 inches or to 8 inches. But if you just have it up on the surface, 5 inches deep, you're not getting no rain. You're not getting no rain, and the sun penetrating your plant. Sometimes it takes a month before I get rain in the garden, and I don't wet my plant. Sometimes it takes 6 weeks, I ain't see no rain. But because of this method, it actually helps. Because if you plant 10 inches deep, 10 inches deep is something like this, right? That's about 10 inches deep. That's where the root, you put the plant. This is the hole comes up here. Now, while the plant growing out of the hole, you keep adding soil around the root of the plant. So while the plant coming up, you keep adding soil. So that's root is grounded under the soil. And what's under the soil? That is where you find the nutrients. That is why you find the minerals. That is why you find the earthworm. That is where you find these beneficial insects in the soil, under the soil. So if the plant is under the soil and it's spreading its roots under the soil, it's feeding. It's feeding, and then it ain't got to worry about if you don't get water for 2 weeks. Say, for instance, you don't get water for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, no rain, 5 weeks, they're going to still survive. My garden is full proof of that. Full proof. If the internet was working good, I would have shown you guys that video. Because when you realize what happened is, on the surface, the sun penetrates. But if you dig down, 3 weeks, if you dig down under the surface, you're going to find the soil is moist. You see? So the more you dig down, you find the soil moist. You know why? Because the sun did not get down to that depth. So under there is still moist. So the plant still somehow or the other able to get the moisture through the roots. Yes. So the moisture, if it's on top of the surface, 2-3 inches down, in no time, the sun gonna penetrate if it's not getting no rain. The sun gonna penetrate that surface and go down, and it might even reach the top of the white roots there. Now, if the sun is really penetrating that, it's gonna damage them. So you wanna make sure you do the right thing so it saves you all these problems. It also saves you from wetting your plant over and over. In my garden, guys, I just get hot weather, 90 degrees for days, right? But I still don't wet my plants. Because when you go out in the morning, the plants look green and fresh and beautiful. But when you go in the middle of the day, you see where they kind of pull down. But when you go back in the evening, you realize they should stand right back up. So that indicates they get in the moisture, the root is feeding, it's just the body, the leaf, the sun is affecting. But as soon as the sun gone, they stand right back up. So the root is important. That moisture is important. That nutrient is important. That mineral is important. Once that plant is getting the moisture, the nutrients, the mineral, and if the sun is penetrating it, it's still gonna survive. But once the sun penetrating the root, remember, plants do not eat dirt and it do not eat compost. What it does, it suck it up. So when it it get wet, it kind of turn into the liquid, and that's what the plant is sucking, the liquid, not the dirt. So once the moisture is under the soil, the plant's still gonna feed. But if you plant them 6 inches and you ain't get no rain for a month, you have a hard time. These plants could naturally fall on you because no moisture. So the moisture is important, and that's why I'm saying plant deep. So it will save you a lot of problems. Okay, let nature. Can you say okra and coconut for me? Well, I say okra and coconut. Okra add coconut. Yes, 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 yes. So yes, guys, I love the way you say it. Oh, really? Okra and coconut. Yes, and that okra is one of my favorite plant too. It's one of my favorite plant. I just love no cucumber. Sorry, cucumber. Oh, okay. Okra and cucumber. Oh man. Yes, yes. Yes, guys. So save yourself time. And if you have a raised bed, say for instance, you have a raised bed. Some people, you're welcome. Yes, some people will, like me, for instance, my raised bed, I will dig the raised bed. I will dig it, the bottom of the raised bed, and I might add some leaf, and then I dig it and mix it in together. Some people might just put a pile of compost in the raised bed. So, so say for instance, that's what you're doing, and you have the wood barricading. I think you should use at least 12 inches wide wood, board, 12 inches wide, and fold it up to the top because, like I'm saying, once you plant the plants them deep, once you plant the plants them deep, you stand a way better chance of watering them less. You stand a way better chance of getting success. Now let's step over to container garden for a minute. Let's go over to container garden because I know a lot of people is container garden as well, right? In container garden, this is why I always mention get a big enough container for your plants. This is really important. Get a big enough container for your plants. Why? The root system. The root system is very important. And the more room you give the root, is the more it's going to grow and is the longer it's going to grow. Once it got room to grow, it's going to grow and push longer. So if the container is big enough, then the root's going to continue grow. Once it's getting feed, it's getting water, it's going to continue grow. But if the container is too small, where will it go? You see what I'm coming from? Where will it go? It have nowhere to go. So guess what? Once the root is not going and spreading, then the plant is not going to be growing. You see what I'm coming from? The roots spread. The more the roots spread, the more the plant develop, the more the plant grow. So you want to make sure that the container have enough soil inside that this plant, this root can grow as big as it like or as big as it can. In these cases, you stand a better chance of more production. Also, I mean, I say these things a lot of times. Also, for instance, let's do a little demonstration on this right here. Right? This is your container. This is the container you're using to plant your plants in, right? No, the container is too small. So what's gonna happen is the plant gonna grow, and what they're gonna do it's gonna push all its root, and the root gonna hit the edge of the container. And what gonna happen? It's gonna find itself start to go around. And the roots just gonna begin tangle up, and then it can't go no more. So now remember this. The root is the outer part of the soil. Now it passes the soil and it lap between the soil and the container. You have this container outside in the summer. The root is between the soil and the container. And the sun starts penetrating the outer part. Now the sun penetrating the top, and the sun also penetrating the outer part. You know the damage that that sun could cause to the root that's between in the container, between the soil and the container. The sun gonna damage that root because you know the amount of heat that these containers carry during the summer. You know how much heat these containers suck in the summer. So now this is why a lot of people have so much problem in the summer with containers. You got to remember the container is not on the ground, it's on the surface. So this thing is getting heat from every angle possible. It's getting heat from the bottom, it's getting heat from the top, it's getting heat from the outer, from the side. So it's a lot of heat this container is really collecting. And then the root inside is also suffering from this heat. So this is why I always say, get big enough container that can hold enough soil to house the root of that plant. The more soil you have in the container, the more the root get protected. The more soil you have in the container, the more the root get protected. Now, the more soil, the root grow, spread itself, right? The root spread itself, and at the same time, it have soil to help protect that root because this container is receiving a lot of heat. Now, if the container is too small, you're going to start see the plant start suffering. When I say start suffering, you're going to start see it's not doing well. Why? It's struggling with the heat. And then sometimes we have them in direct heat. And that's another situation. Direct heat with these plants in a container, no, that could be devastating for a plant. If it's in the ground, it's different because the sun is only coming from the top. But when a container, the sun coming from every angle. Even the surface of the ground does be steaming. Even the surface from the ground does be steaming. Plus the side. Do you understand how much heat is this container is collecting? Then the container is not big enough for the plant. You're not going to get a lot of production in that way. But now if the container is big, better production. So invest. Don't run around using these little container, guys. It's not gonna help you out the way you want it to. Invest in big containers that can help you. You see, it can help the plant, make life easier for you. And the truth is, direct sun for these plants in container. Think about it, guys. Think about it. Direct sun in these container could be challenging for any plant. For real. direct sun doing container garden could be challenging for any plant, fruit, trees, whatever. But now I'm going to give you an idea now how to create a soil that can hold moisture. How to create, what to put in a soil that can help add carbon in your soil and also nutrients in your soil. And at the same time, keep a barrier within the soil that holds moisture. All right. In container, in all of my container, I always add clay soil. I always add clay soil. Why do I add clay soil? Clay soil hold moisture. Clay soil hold water. And if you're doing container garden, you want something in that soil to hold water. Another thing you could do as well is using leaf. Oak leaf, maple leaf, this type of leaf. In your container, when that break down, it kind of create a kind of compost, almost something like sponge that holds water. This thing is very important in raised bed, in ground, and container. Because like I'm saying, the heat that comes down on this container, it could be very devastating for plants. The heat. It could be, especially if the plant its root is too big for that container. You have to have big enough container for these plants. Don't waste your time with these little containers because you're not going to get the success you need or the success you might be looking for because the container is too small. And I'm going to give you a little idea. I had some fruit trees, right? I had some fruit trees, and there was the tropical fruit trees, and I had them in the direct sun. I have them in container. I'm growing them in container. I have them in the direct sun, and the sun was penetrating, and they would not even, they would never grow. The sun stunted them, so they wasn't even growing. And I put them under a shaded area where the sun only might hit them for like 2 hours. They get in the humidity, but they actually not getting the direct sun. And from the time I move these plants, they just start to push out fresh leaf like the crazy. The sun in these containers could devastate plants, could make plants frustrated, could make plants, you could lose them. They could start produce. You could have a tomato plant in a little container. And it push out a few tomatoes for you, and then it just stop. Because maybe the container is too small for that plant. I don't think anyone should plant peppers, okra, these tomatoes, these type of plants in anything less than 5 gallon. I would never recommend a 5 gallon bucket for a pepper plant. I will say a 15 gallon the least. If you really want to grow pepper, if you see, is what you're looking for at the end of the day. I will prefer to recommend a 15-gallon container for a pepper plant than a 5-gallon. The bigger the container, you stand a chance of getting more production, more harvest, more growth, a bigger root system. Bigger root system create a lot of growth. So if you're in an area and you have direct sun in your garden, I'm sure some people have direct sun, no shaded area. Honestly, if you could create a little covering, just a little covering for them for when the sun start hovering over them, I think that will help a lot. I think that will help a lot because sometimes the sun is so hot that it's black the growth. I'm telling you, it stunted the plant because the sun is so heated. It stunted the plant. So a little shade, if you see there's trees and there's a shaded area, just transplant, just put them over there under the shaded area. Because I'm telling you, I've seen it. And this is for container gardeners. In-ground is a big difference in-ground than container. Big difference than container because the only place the sun comes from in-ground is the surface. From up in the sky, shine down and penetrate. In containers, the sun penetrates the side, the top, and even the heat come from the bottom. So these things is so important when growing your own food. So important when growing food. Always make sure, and let me tell you something you can do too. At the end of your garden season, when you might pull up the plant out the container, just look at the root. Look at the size of the root. And when you look at the size of the root, it's going to give you an idea of how this plant grows. And it's going to give you an idea, you know what, maybe next year I need a bigger pot for this plant. This is how you understand plants as well. You look at the size of their roots. At the end of the season, you pull the plant up, you watch the root. If you see it have a big root, you know, okay, all right, I got to make sure I put this in a big pot, a big container next garden season. 5-gallon bucket is okay. I'm not going to say 5-gallon bucket is not good. It's just not big enough for certain plants. That's what I will say. It's a good size, but it's not big enough for certain plants. That's what I say. So I personally will move from 5-gallon and start thinking about 10, 15. Why I will focus on 15? I have 10-gallon, but the most I will put in them is like if I have a fruit tree growing, I might put a seed down inside of one of them, like an avocado seed, a mango seed, and then let it grow in that container. But when you're talking about me growing food, me actually growing food, I'm going for the bigger container, half a drum. Half a drum is wonderful. You know the big half a drum them? I think they 55-gallon, and you could cut them in two. That's wonderful. That's something good to plant into. Because here now, in that container, you could plant several different plants in the scan. So if you have the opportunity to get the drum, the 50-gallon drum, if you get the opportunity to get it and you have the space, you could get it and you could cut it down in two. And you could use the top and you could use the bottom. Within these two containers, you could grow a lot in these two containers. You could grow pepper, and then you also could grow some herbs in that same container around the pepper. You could put a fruit tree inside of it. And you still could put plants around it. Like I have James, how you know I can grow? How I know, James? Well, if it's me saying, I see your garden before. So I know you can do your thing. But yes, half a drum, I plant fruit trees in the half a drum. And in that same half a drum, I plant cantaloupe in that half a drum. I plant sweet stevia. I plant different plants in that same half a drum. That half a drum is deep and it have room. Oh, okay. All right, James. Yes, it have room. Even fruit trees, we try to grow fruit trees in containers. And we got to do what we got to do. If that's the space you have, you just got to do what you got to do. You know? But you could never get a fruit tree to perform the way it would in the ground, like in a container. Number one, the container is too small for that fruit tree. So the fruit tree is not going to grow the way it should. It's not to say that it's not going to grow. It will grow, but it will never grow the way it will if it's in ground. Why? Because that container is not big enough for that fruit tree. So that container will just keep it to a certain way, to a certain growth. It's not going no further. Because the root not getting enough room to grow. So it will grow, it will produce, but it will never produce as much as if you have it in the ground. So it's the same with these plants. If the container is not big enough for them, they will not produce like in the ground. And don't get me wrong, you could get great harvest out of containers. Containers produce well, but you just have to make sure it's big enough for that plant. So container garden is beautiful. Okay, let me see. Also, what James say, planter also you can grow some fruit trees in container. Yes. I have fruit trees I'm actually growing in containers. It's not that I have to. I really don't have to. But I like to grow because when I'm talking, I really like to show what I'm saying, what I'm talking about. I don't like to just talk because sometimes you got to be able to back what you're saying. So I have fruit tree in containers that I'm growing as well. And some of them is tropical. And because of tropical, I have to keep them in container because you got to take them indoors when for the winter. So container, but I already know some of these tropical fruit trees I'm growing, I'm not really growing them for the fruit. I'm growing them for the leaf because I know it's very hard to really get them to produce. But I'm growing them to get their leaf because we know that the soursop leaf is amazing, as we know. The avocado, the mango, and guess what? These are leaf we used to just take and throw away. We used to take these leaves and just throw them away. And now we realize, but you see, we wasn't thinking. Now we realize what's in the fruit is also in the leaf. The same nutrient run through the plant, run through the limb, through the leaf, is the same nutrient running into the fruit. So if the fruit is loaded with nutrient, the leaf also loaded with nutrient. But we used to just throw them away. Now, I see they selling avocado leaf, they selling mango leaf, they even selling banana leaf. And guys, let me tell you something. I think we waste too much food. I think we waste too much food. Yes. I think we waste way too much food. Way too much. And most of the time is because we don't know. Think about, look at, I'm going to give you a culture to look at. And when you look at these cultures, you're going to realize these people eat a lot of things that we never even think about eating. The Chinese, them eat a lot of, listen to me, them eat a lot of things. Lot of things they eat, man. We throw away a lot of food. And it's not like I'm saying to go and eat any and anything. I'm just saying we throw away a lot of food. I think people waste food a lot. I really think so. And not to say they're doing it on purpose. It's because sometimes we don't know. But if you look into other culture, you realize, wait, these culture is actually eating these food and we're throwing them away. Just like I know I was telling you, the soursop leaf. No, look to the soursop leaf. What we do, we learn how soursop leaf is so beneficial. It have so much benefit. We learned that, but years ago, these things used to just fall and dry up on the ground. Nobody's studying that. But now we understand the benefit. So it's a lot of things out here, man, that we throw away that really can help us. A lot of things. And this is why I believe in educating ourselves. Try to educate ourselves in learning about different things. You know, sometimes you grow up a certain way, you grow up in a certain culture, and you just feel like that's it. But sometimes it's good to observe other culture and you learn things. You learn things. Because things you might be throwing away, things you might be saying ain't good. Other people might be using it for medicine because they understand. So that's what I'm saying, man. We got to just educate ourselves however we can because it's not getting easy, man. It's not getting easy. And educating yourself. I'm not saying you got to go to college. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying educating yourself about what's going on. You know, When we look at what's going on today, a lot going on today, right? We see where machine is taking over a lot of the job. Let me see. Um, this is a good point, planter. The leaf from plants are deep, taproot are good and very good in a garden. Yes, definitely. Definitely, James. Definitely. 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 Like, for instance, ginger. People only eat the ginger. But you see the root of the ginger have a root itself. They have the plant, then you have the ginger, then you have the root. A lot of people throw away that part of the ginger. But if you're able to use the ginger, you could use the part too. The whole plant, a matter of fact. But because of lack of knowledge, man, and information, we've been giving up, we throw away so much. We throw away so much things and don't even understand that we actually throwing away food, naturally food. So it's all about educating ourselves and learn about different things. Learn about different things. Learn about what is food and what is not food. Things you could eat, things you train our stuff all your life. And when you realize there's people been eating it all their life. So it's all about educating ourselves and learning. Because I'm telling you, man, this time is getting crucial. Time is getting crucial, man. Panther, I'm still learning and will be learning the rest of definitely. We can't finish learning, and don't care we believe we know. Learning is something you could never stop because it's so much to learn. You cannot take in everything. For real. So learning is something we do on an everyday basis. But yes, guys, this is 2025 and gardening season is around the corner. And if you have any interest in growing food, especially the natural way, you are at the right place, man. So you could join us at night, day, whenever. Just hit the notification bell, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can get all the notification to know when we're gonna upload a video or when we go in live. Because we go live pretty often because we realize garden season is right around the corner and we're trying to encourage as much people as possible. Because even though we know what's going on today, you cannot sit down and panic. You have to think about how am I gonna make it with this new system, this new whatever coming. How are you gonna make it? You can't sit down and panic and just sit down and complain. You got to figure out how. This is not just one place. This is everywhere. This is all over the world. People got to figure out how am I gonna make it? What am I gonna do? Try to become, if there's machine, then try to become a person who could fix machine. You see where I'm coming from? If there's machine taking over, then they're gonna need people to fix the machine. So these are the trade you also want to learn. Because at the end of the day, we have to live. You have to survive. But how you gonna do that? How you gonna survive? How you gonna live? You gotta figure that out, man. It's getting harder. But you can't sit down and complain. You got to do something. Okay? I'm going I'm going better, but still need to catch you from the beginning of your life. Yeah, I understand, James. I understand, man. I understand. But glad you're here, man. I know you is a person with a lot of information as well, man. Glad you're here. I truly appreciate you joining me here at night, man. I appreciate that. Because I'm just trying to encourage people, man, because like I said, it's getting harder. But what is the plan? What are you gonna do? You got to think about being an entrepreneur in this time. That's you got to be start thinking about being a creator, a boss, creating jobs. That's how I got to start thinking. We got to get off the employee mentality and get on to the employer mentality. Be an employer. That's how we got to start to think. Because if the machine is taking the job, we can't sit down and complain, and we can't sit down and panic. What we got to do, we got to figure out how to be an employer. How are we going to be an employer? The opportunity is more wider now because you have online, you have working from home, you have all different ways now how to create jobs for yourself. So the mentality people got to start to come with, we have to start to come with, is being an employer and stop have this employee mentality, looking for jobs. No, try to create a job that you might be able to employ someone. That's the mentality. Because jobs losing every day, man. Every day we losing people losing job. So we got to come off of the I'm looking for a job to I'm gonna be an employer. Start some kind of business. It's not getting easy, guys. It's not. Jamesy, you know I'm always trying to support, like you just said. We have to survive. So each one teach one will help you. Definitely, definitely, definitely. With this type of information we share, man, it's like is to help each other, to help each other. And this information is so valid, but I'm telling you, not many people interested in this type of conversation because sometimes you speak to some people and they tell you, man, when that time come, I'll deal with that. And I understand. Not everybody want to sit back and think about what's coming. But it's better to be prepared than sorry. That's what I can say. Better to be prepared than sorry. Get out the employee's way and start thinking about being an employer. Start sit down and figuring out how. Because online now, you have a lot of ways to create something. You remember, you remember in the older time, in our time growing up, they always want to tell you, oh, you gotta wait till you 18, 19, or 21 before you could start, before you could have a certain thinking. I think that helped hold us back a lot. I think that helped hold back us a lot. Why I think this hold us back a lot? In today, in this generation, there's kids come up with ideas and become millionaires, become entrepreneurs. Children, kids, young kids, not even 15 years of age, become entrepreneur, become millionaire. You know why? Because the opportunity. And now in this time, no one gonna tell them, oh, you too young for that. You're not ready for that. You see where I'm coming from? So we've been holding back ourselves and our children and our parents been holding us back as well. Because instead of when you come with the idea, they embrace it, they kind of tell, oh, you're too young for that. You're not ready for that. But we want me right to be further. Because when the ideas come, we should have taken the opportunity, but we put in the children in. But I never believe in that. I never believe in a person too young to become a boss and to become an entrepreneur. I don't believe in that. At any age, once you have the capability, you should be able to push forward. Into the world, we have the internet now. Kids able to take care of their parents from a young age and take care of themselves from a young age because now no one is telling them they're too young to make money. And it's never too young. It's never too young. Because you got to survive. You got to survive. So the time is coming, man. I'm not telling no one to get panic, because there's no need to get panic. It's to figure out what are you going to do to make it in this life. What are you going to do? Because it is what it is. You have to survive. You have to eat. You need somewhere to rest your head, you and your family. So you can't sit down and think about these things that happening. You got to figure out and think about how can I start? How can I start my business? It's no. If you want to start a business, it's so easy now to get information. Because you want to start a business, you could just type in online and get all the information you need. This is not like before. It ain't got to be big. You could start from small and that it could grow into something. This is the thing with us hold a lot of us back too. Because we believe if we start small, it will take too long to grow. Or it might take us too long to get somewhere. But you got to start from somewhere. Many of these companies start from small, real small. and blow up massive. So sometimes you just got to use what you have. But I'm telling you, we got to have the employee mentality. No, the employer mentality than the employee. Because employee, if you're thinking about being an employee, then you're gonna run into situation, because if we notice that the job is cutting. So what we got to do is able to create jobs. That's what we got to do. A lot of us have a lot of skill. A lot of us is great. A lot of us have a lot of skill just sitting on and don't even understand. This is the time, this is the age to get up and use your skill and your talent. It's no time to sit down again and complain. If you see something is going the opposite and it's not going your way, you have to get up and figure out, what am I going to do? How am I going to survive? How am I going to make this? That's the thing. That's a mentality today. That's the mentality today. Thinking how we're going to make things work for us. Because nobody ain't gonna be giving. This is not the time when people used to give stuff. It's getting to a place now where is dog eat dog. Everybody is looking out for the self. This is where it's getting. So if everybody is looking out for the self, what do you think? A lot of people have so much talent and so much skills and not using it. This is not the age for that. This is the age to awaken yourself. Awaken that talent inside you that's just sitting there. Awaken it. I'm telling you, it's a lot of talent today and a lot of skills and a lot of archipano sleeping today. They never use the skill they have. They never use the mindset they have and turn it into something. This is not the age and the time. This is the time to wake up and awaken yourself. Focusing on being an employer where you could employ someone. The employee mentality is where you're looking for a job and you see what's happening. It's getting harder and harder to get a job. People losing their job. So you got to get to the form of trying to create a job. You know, sometimes we sit down and we use a lot of our time. We use a lot of our time making jokes, having fun. Nothing wrong with that. It's fun. But we also got to use our time in sitting down and thinking, well, man, I went into the store today and I saw they used to have, the store used to have 10 cashier. These I think we got to start paying attention to. Now they have 9 self-cash out and 1 cashier. It used to be 10. Now it's 1. So that's 9 people lose their job right there. These are things we got to look at. So if we're still holding on the employee mentality, then we're going to run into disaster because we're not going to be getting the job. So now the mindset got to become an employee. So now the awakening of these entrepreneurs and these skill need to be awake and come to life, or it's gonna be disaster. I'm telling you, many people in this lifetime, they crush a lot of people's dreams because they have a lot of people out there that they're not strong enough. So when someone talk down on them, they get weak and they just give up their dream. And there's a lot of dream crushers out there, man. There's a lot of people out there who just dare to crush your dreams. And a lot of people get their dreams crushed and wasn't able to recover. These people need to wake up. Because these people could change, could make changes. They could make changes. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people get heartbroken and just give up. And these people had a lot to offer. A lot of people. There's a lot of dream crusher out there. There's a lot of people who tell people, oh, you will never make it. Oh, you did this type of stuff. And you could tell people that, but not everyone gonna just shake it off and move. There's people you could make these statements to, and they hold on it and believe that it could never happen, nothing could happen for them. Some people, if you tell them that, they say, okay, I'll show you. I'll show you different. So it's different people. So we got to be mindful of the things we say to people. We got to be mindful, our children, be careful on the words you use to them, because sometimes they're not strong enough. And the words you mention to them, they hold it forever. They hold it for life and never wake up. And these people had so much to offer. These people could have made it different. Oh, dreams crushers, man. There's a lot of dreams crushers out there, Jed. That's these people whose dream has been crushed is the one who got to wake up now, or they could make a difference. They could be entrepreneur. They could be real business people who have the business mind. But they wasn't strong enough because of the words people were saying to them. Because the things people were saying to them. Not everybody is strong. We could sit here and we might say, oh man, that was just talk. Well, yes, it's just talk for us. We laugh that off. But to some people, they take it too hard. You see? There's no way a person could be trying to better themselves. And I could tell them they could never, it will never work for them. It will never happen. How could a person do that to anyone? We're supposed to encourage them. Okay, that's your dream, that's your vision. Okay, what's your conversation? What's your intention? Hey Shelly in the South, how you doing? All right, okay, thank you, appreciate it. Yes, don't let anyone, and I could say that, but Better said than done. Because like I know I was mentioning, many people, not everybody strong is the same. Some people, you could tell them anything and they laugh at you. Some people, you tell them certain things and they take it to heart and they just believe it and manifest it and never do anything that they was planning to do because of what you said to them. So we got to be careful of the things we say to people, especially the generation coming up under us. We got to be careful. People will naturally tell you, tell you, oh, that's not gonna work. You try to tell them. This is why, too, guys. When you have vision and dream, don't tell certain people. You have dream snatchers. Don't tell certain people your dream. Not everyone need to know your dream. You never tell everyone because, and sometimes you got to know who you're telling your dreams. That's all I can tell you. You got to know because not everyone have your best interests. You know what I'm saying? And you could come up with a brilliant idea. You could come up with a brilliant idea and be careful with your ideas, them too. Be careful with your ideas. This is a dog, what they call it? A dog eat dog wall. That's what they call it? Right. You could come up with a brilliant idea, right? And you decide, okay, this is your friend. And you want to share this idea with your friend. Hey guys, don't forget to hit that like button. I truly appreciate it. All right. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. Right. You have your friend. Well, that's who you call your friend. And you decide you have a brilliant idea. You have such a great idea that the truth is, if you get to the right person, you could take this idea to another, they could help you take this idea to another level, right? You tell your friend about your idea, because you claim that's your friend, but they're not claiming you as the friend. And that's where you got to be careful with too. You claiming someone as your friend, but they're not claiming you as their friend. So now you tell them your brilliant idea. And they tell you, oh, please, I ain't gonna get no way, man. You play, I ain't gonna get no way. And they shut you down. They shut you down, right? They shut you down. And then take your idea that you give to them, that you tell yourself is a friend. We having this conversation. I'm gonna share this with you. They take your idea and go and find someone who would invest and take the idea to another level. Next thing, when you catch yourself, you could see the idea that you come up with is growing and you're not a part of it. Do you get what I'm saying, right? Your friend tell you that that idea wasn't good and they shut you down. And now you tell yourself, okay, damn, I thought this was good. But this is how a lot of people, I don't know how to describe them. I don't even want to put them in no kind of category. But this is how a lot of people lose because they trust their friends so much that they thought they had. And the friend take their idea and run with it. No, they turn this idea into something great. And you come up with the idea now and you're not a part of it. You know how that could make a person feel? But this is what we live in. This is where we're going. So if you got an idea and let me tell you, sometimes, let me see what James say. Never give away your money, making ideas before you make money, no matter who. Definitely, I agree with it. Sometimes the truth is, sometimes we have brilliant ideas. We have excellent ideas. But in order to turn these ideas into something, you might need money. You're going to need money to do this. You're going to need money to do that. So if you feel like you have an idea of something that can really make a difference in your life, but you don't have the funds, I'm telling you, don't just give it to no one. That's all I can tell you. Don't give it to no one because they will take it and run with it. And ain't nothing you can say about it. You know how much people lose like that? You know how much people lose their business, their ideas in this type of way? Many people. So you got to be careful. You have to be careful. You cannot call, I personally cannot call people friends if they did not prove themselves. You see what I'm coming from? Yeah, you could be, we living in the same neighborhood, but I cannot say we're friends unless it is proven. Not because you smile for me and you say hi to me, I must believe me and you as friend. No, it have to be proven that you is my friend. Because these same people is the same one will take your idea, run with it. Next thing you see they and the friend, whoever the thing, with your idea, striving, and you is not a part of it. This life, I'm telling you, you got to be careful. Shelly say, Planter, you speaking some hard facts. It's sad. No, for real, it's true. It's true. And I know for a fact there's right now, there's a lot of entrepreneurs that are asleep. There's a lot of great ideas that sleeping as well. And when I say sleeping, what I mean, because the dream snatchers and them pass by. And the dream snatchers, when you come up with ideas, some of them, instead of they encourage you, they tell you, oh no, that's not a good idea. I don't think you should do that. And put you right to sleep. So because you're listening to your dream snatcher friend, you believe what he's saying and you close down and put that aside. This was the idea to change your life and change your family life. And many people across the world. But the dream snatcher tell you, no, it's not going to work. And you just shut it down. You know how much people went through that today and just leave it there? So I'm saying today, These people need to wake back up and find themselves, because we need all these ideas and all these entrepreneurs to wake up and come alive, because I'm telling you, this future is something else. You gotta be an employer and get off the employee mentality. You gotta start thinking, how am I gonna create something that I can make a living? This is your mentality today. Or you're gonna have to depend on someone. Don't give away your dream, guys. Don't do that to yourself. Don't. Don't trust no one when come on your dream and your vision. There's always dream snatchers that just waiting to snatch your dream. There's always people who just willing to tear you down. There's always someone who watching you, and you just being yourself, and they hate you. Like, there's always that. You always have someone who hates you and acting like they're close to you at the same time. Everybody have that. Everybody have somebody that hates them but acting like they love them, like they're his friend. Everybody have that. So you got to know a real friend, a true friend. But I also want to say, don't give away your ideas. If you want to meet someone who could take your idea to another level, you still got to get it in a certain way that they can't take your ideas. You understand what I'm saying? James C. I learned that lesson on the job, to where I came up with a way to get a job done ahead of time. But I didn't get credit for it, and the dirty rat did, and I never did it that again. Exactly. That's a prime example. And I like how you say that, James, because it happened on jobs. You know, on jobs, there's always someone trying to get you fired. There's always someone trying to get your position. Always. On every job. I remember. I remember. We was working on like 5 houses joined together. And we was bricking up the house. You know them red brick? We was bricking the house them right wrong. And when you bricking house, when you're bricking up house, the windows, when you're going up with the brick, you got to maintain a measurement, because when you reach up to the top, right? When you reach up to the top, when you reach up to the top of the window ledge, right up to the top of the window ledge, the brick supposed to be level with the top of the window. Both sides. This is the window. The phone is the window. So you coming up from the ground, coming all the way up with the brick, go all the way around, right? When you get up here, the brick's supposed to be level with the top of the window, because Now there's a steel, an angle iron going over that. So the angle iron now gonna go over the window like this, for a brick to continue, because you know there have to be something to put for the brick to continue over the window. So I was the man who always taking the measurement to make sure that we maintain in a certain height with the cement. So I was the man taking all the measurement, all the window, pull the lines them. And the guy was telling the boss man, oh, this guy, I'm the one doing all the work here. This guy ain't know nothing. But the boss man know better. You understand? The guy know better. The guy know me before he even know him. So the guy know better. They take him and they move him from me and they put him to the one house. Where I was, we was doing 5 houses. And we put in brick right around all the 5 houses. 5 houses together, 3-story each. They move him and they put him to do his own house because he's so good and he could do this and I don't know what I'm doing. He the one doing it. They move him and put him to do one house. He messed up the one house and they end up firing him from that. He loses his job because he messed up the one house. This is the same guy who telling the guy, oh, this guy don't know nothing. I'm the one doing the job. And so yes, on your job, there's always someone, even though they ain't better than you, even though you're better than them on what you're doing, they're still trying to take your job. They're still trying to get rid of you. I also remember, I'm going to give you another story again. I get a job for a guy. I get a job for a guy. I get the job for the guy, and the guy trying to get my job. Carrying news. I'm telling you, I get the job for the guy, and the guy trying to get my job. And I know a lot of people went through these things and still going through these things today. So you're trying to help people, and they're trying to stop your food at the same time. You helping them, and they're trying to stop your food at the same time. This is the world, and it's not getting any better. It's actually getting worse. It's getting to a place now where people are going to be only caring about their self and nobody else. So be careful with your brilliant ideas you have. If you have an idea and you don't have the funds to bring the idea to life, and you want to deal with someone, make sure everything is correct and in paperwork, and even you might have to find a lawyer, all kind of thing, to make sure that everything goes properly. Because I'm telling you, man, is a lot of dream snatchers, is a lot of idea snatchers, is a lot out there, and they don't care. What they will tell you is just business. It's not personal. You see that word? You see that word? And many times we hear these things, right? We hear these things. It's just business, like movies. This is a real thing. Like in movies, we're gonna hear this say, "Oh, it's just business. It's just business. It's nothing personal." This is something real. This is real. Because business is separate. Business supposed to separate from personal. You understand? So they will tell you it's just business. This is how business run, man. This is how business run. It's business is the impersonal. So don't take it personal because it's business. This is a real saying. So don't get into these things and believe that people like you and people are you as friends when come on business. No, they will treat you. You and them will be best friends. And they will treat you in a way it's business. It's not personal. Any business you want to get into, learn about the business. Don't depend on no one to tell you about the business. Even though they're telling you, you learn and you do your own research. Because people, you need to be seeing everything. This wall, I'm telling you, man. So yes, why I went here with this topic is because I've realized there's a lot of dreams was snatched away. There's a lot of people that we see. Hey, Sissy Judah, what's up? Thank you for being here. There's a lot of us. There's a lot of people who say real harsh thing to people. And just shatter their dream. Instead of they encourage them, they just shatter their dreams with harsh words. And some of these people never recover. Some of them never recover. And they have these dreams, sleeping with it. So we want to encourage these people to wake up with their ideas and their entrepreneur ideas and bring it to life. You have to bring these ideas to life. It's no time to be thinking about being an employee. It's the time to think about being an employer. The mindset got to switch. Not everyone will able to be an employer. But the more people start to think about being an employer, is the more jobs gonna create for the employee. So we want to have more employer than employee. Or start getting more employer. Got to get into business. You got to get into business. This is getting serious, man. I don't know how you guys see it, but I just see it as you cannot sit down and complain. That's not going to work. You cannot sit down and ain't do anything. That's not going to work. You got to get up now and think about how you're going to do things and what you're going to do. Because ain't nobody going to do it for you. Ain't nobody going to do it for you. Everybody is going to be focusing on themselves. And you can't blame them. You can't blame them because you need to focus on yourself too. We all need to focus on ourselves. James said 2025 is the year to do it. Yes, I agree. I agree. Don't sit back and talk about next year you're gonna start a business. No, you gotta start thinking, I wanna start a business now. Don't sit back and say in 5 years you wanna have a business. No, you gotta start to think about no, I wanna start a business now. You need to start sit down and think about what type of business you could start. Sometimes you gotta start little, guys. You gotta start little. Summer is coming. You could buy a lawnmower. I'm just giving little ideas, right? I'm not saying, I'm just saying how a person could start a business. You live in a neighborhood, people need their yard cut. You could start a business by buying a lawnmower, right? Buying a lawnmower and walk around and ask people if they need a yard cut. I see people do that. You could buy, I'm just saying, guys, you could buy a power wash machine. You could buy a power wash machine and you could walk around. And if you see somebody else need power wash, you could go up to them and let them know you have a power wash machine, a business, and you could print some card and you could be doing power. I'm just saying simple things. But you have to do something. Can't sit down and complain no more. We have to do something. So get up, learn more. That could be a small business. A power wash to power wash yard, power wash your house. That could be a business. Cleaning job. That could be a business. I'm just saying, guys. I'm just saying. Little things. How you could start a business. Because the mindset of some people is like a business got to be, oh, it's got to be something big and you got to start off with 3, 4, 5, 6 employee with no. You could start off small and move on to different things. But at least you start doing something. You not sit down complaining. Because while you sit down complaining, life going on and bills still coming. So we got to try to be our own boss. You have a skill, you as a handyman. You could pass out, get some card, pass out some cards. Here's a plumber. Pass out some cards. Print some card, pass out some cards. Let people know this is what you do. So, if somebody need a plumbing job, they could call you. These are the mentality we got to go on. Not sit down, complain, and we got to figure out how and what we're going to do from 2025 goes on. And this is not just one place. This is all over the world. This is not just one place. Have to do this. This is people everywhere. You got to be some sort of independent. It mightn't be much, but some sort. For real. Yes, guys. So what's up, guys? How you all doing, man? Exactly, James. Exactly. James say you could get on Angie's too. Right. These are where we got to start to think now. Being entrepreneur, being employer, and get the employee thing out your head. If you got to be an employee, you got to be an employee, yes. But now you're looking for something different. Sitting down and complaining is not going to help us, guys. It's surely not going to help us. We have to wake up and we got to start to encourage people. Stop trying to down people and discourage them from doing something that could change their life for the better. And if something change their life for the better, it could change other people's life for the better. We got to stop with this bad-minded thing and this envious thing and encourage people more than discourage people. All right? So, yes, guys, this was another wonderful night. Thank you all. Thank you all for the 12 likes tonight. Yes, yes, yes. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. I truly appreciate it. This conversation is well needed. The topic was how to grow bell pepper. And from there, we just swing to this topic. You know what I'm saying? But the truth is, man, time is getting tough. And we gotta wake up. We gotta wake up that thing inside of us, that creativity that live inside us that we suppress for so much years. We gotta wake that up now. Because there's a lot of real good skills, man, that's not using that skill. You have real talented people that's not using their talent. So we need to encourage these people. If you know someone that have a talent in your neighborhood or in your family, I encourage you to urge that person to wake up and awaken that talent inside of them. All right? No time for the discouragement. We're supposed to encourage people. Because if you encourage people and this person becomes successful, someone else could become them able to help someone else or a few people. That's how we got to see it. It's not just about us, it's about everybody. All right? So thank you guys again for coming out tonight. Thank you all for the 12 likes. I truly appreciate it. We go live very often. We go live 9, 10 o'clock at nights. We go live sometimes in the day. We post videos almost every day. We post videos. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do. Please hit the notification bell because over here we have real conversation, real peaceful conversation we have over here, and we all can, and everyone have a right to their own opinion. We don't discriminate. We believe that everyone have a right to their own opinion. So here is a comfort zone that we come and we have conversation about gardening. We have conversation about different topics. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do. And also hit the notification bell so you could tune in and we all can have this conversation. All right? Thank you all again for coming out. And if you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. All right. If you have a phone, just double tap your screen, and you're gonna like it. That's how you like the button. You hit the like button. Thank you all so much. Thank you, James. Appreciate you, man. Thank you, CC Junior. Thank you, Shelly in the South. Thank you. Thanks, Let's Nature. Thank you for coming through. Thanks everybody for coming through. Thanks Passionate for coming through. Thanks AG Born Jamaica for coming through. Thank you all so much, man. I appreciate each and every one of you. When is my next live gonna be tomorrow night again, around 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. So you guys can join me tomorrow night again, and we can have a conversation. All right. Thank you all. Appreciate each and every one of you. You guys have a blessed and wonderful night. All right, James. Thank you. Good night, everyone.